All right, welcome to roundoffs and walkovers, okay? We're gonna be talking a lot about roundoffs, walkovers, the pieces of each skill, the drills we do to get those skills stronger, more efficient, and to get the athletes to understand what to do with their bodies in each part of the skill, okay? So let's start with roundoffs, because I'm gonna take a little bit on that. I could take the whole day and talk about roundoffs, but we only have an hour, so an hour and 15. So what are some of the biggest problems you see with roundoffs? With your own roundoffs? Go ahead, start shouting them out. Short lunge. Heavy landing. No pop. Flat-footed, we'll call that flat-footed. Chest down. Like in the snap down or in the beginning, the end, both, all of it? Yep. Yep, a little swervy, crooked, okay. What is the reason? There's two main reasons that we go crooked in roundoffs, okay? Can I have my friend here? Khan, hop up there, get on the line. Right here, baby, right in front of me. Right there. So get in a lunge. Now, we're just gonna start with the lunge, okay? Big lunge, chest over your knee, arms by your ears. Now, she has a straight line right now, okay? From her hand all the way to her foot. Her goal is to keep that straight line pretty much throughout her whole tumbling pass until she gets to a skill that changes body positions, okay? Which would really only be what? A tuck. Other than that, she's staying in a straight line for pretty much every skill she's gonna do. Tucks, Arabians, that's really it. Everything else has a straight line or a handstand, okay? Or a hollow, whatever you wanna call it, same thing. All interchangeable. Okay, get on lunge. So what she's gonna do is she's gonna have her right foot on the right side of the line, okay, facing forwards. She's gonna have her left foot on the left side of the line. I know that sounds awkward and weird, but what happens is when your feet are on either side of the line, your hips can stay square. When your feet are on the line, now your hips cock to the side and are crooked a little bit, especially for a female. So having one foot on each side of the line helps to keep the hips square, which is really important for keeping the roundoff straight and not going crooked, okay? So lunge, arms up. We have a straight line. Okay, now, say she's gonna do a roundoff right now, whereabouts are her hands gonna land? Somewhere out here. So that's where I want her looking right now. She's gonna look at the line, and then when her hands hit the line, she's gonna look at where she wants her feet to land. So she's looking at where she wants her hands to land, okay? Once her hands hit that spot, she's gonna look at where she wants her feet to land. Does that make sense? Okay, so lunge. Let's start with a cartwheel, okay? Just do a nice slow cartwheel. Lunge, cartwheel, finish, arms up all the way, okay? So make sure those arms stay up by your ears the whole time. Good, do it again on the way back. Switch feet, yep. Big lunge, chest over your knee, both feet facing forwards. Close that back, close your back hip. So a lot of times you'll start here with your hip, toe facing out a little bit to the side, and your kick becomes a sideways kick. Now, turn your hip out this way. When she kicks this, turn your foot this way. When she kicks sideways, her leg only goes about that high. I can feel it stopping because anatomy doesn't let it go any higher than that. When her hips are forwards and her foot is forwards, her leg can go all the way over there, okay? So that's one of the biggest things that I want to talk about in the roundoff is when do we actually turn in a roundoff? You have three options. Just do a roundoff, power roundoff, rebound, power hurdle. Okay. Roundoff, rebound. Okay. Got a pretty good roundoff, and she got her feet together today. I like that, okay? When did she turn? We have three options. Did she turn during the hurdle? No. Okay. Did she turn during the lunge? No. Did she turn during the kick? Yes. She sure did. Okay. That's when you're supposed to turn in a roundoff, when you're actually kicking. Does that make sense? Okay. Getting a big lunge. Now I want her to slow that lunge down. I want her to be able to bend her front knee and maintain that straight line until her hands are almost on the floor before she pushes out of her front leg. Nobody really focuses on the front leg in a roundoff. Everyone says, drive your back leg, kick your back leg, drive your back leg. Yes, we do that, but nobody's talking about the front leg, okay? The front leg is the one that we're neglecting. Because a lot of times when that hurdle is really high, the front leg straightens out before the foot hits the ground, and then you can't push out of it because it's already straight. You can't push out of something that's already straightened. So most of us are only getting a one-legged roundoff. And when you use one leg in a roundoff, it's really hard to get your toes positive after it or negative or anywhere that you really want them to be. Your roundoff's just gonna kind of go where it wants to go. You're not gonna have control over it. I want you to have control over it, okay? So let's do another one. Let's try to lunge a little deeper, slow down the lunge. Lunges are not fast. Lunges should be kind of slow, okay? The lunge itself is slow. The kick and the snap down is what actually flips her over. So that's where she wants to put her power, okay? Power hurdle, roundoff, rebound. Turn when you kick, big lunge. Slow lunge. Big, there, okay? Now, did you see it definitely stretched out a lot, like a lot. I don't know if it's just because I look at tumbling all the time, but I could see a complete difference in the length of that. And when she rebounded, where'd she go? Straight up. There was no traveling whatsoever because that lunge spread out her body weight. She was able to control the snap down and put her body where she wanted it, okay? Do it again. Now what I want you to do is I want you to try to get your feet in front of you this time at the end of the round-off, sweep through a little bit and try to make your rebound kind of go back with a tight body. Okay, keep the hips tight, keep the butt tight. Big lunge in front, okay? Not bad, yeah, that's the go, yeah, right there, okay? Just make sure that backside's tucked in a little bit more. But the first one, she landed a little bit negative, which made her go where? Up, negative, not a lot of you are here, so when she's stand neutral, just go on the line, stand clean. So right now her feet would be neutral, okay? We'll call this neutral. When she lands with her feet in front, that's positive. When she lands with her feet behind her, we're gonna call that negative, okay? So that nice long lunge she did at first, her feet landed negative, which makes her go up. When she landed with her feet positive in front of her, what did it make her go? Back. So that would be for doing a handspring, doing a whip out of, okay? When you land with your feet in front of you, your hips are already open and you're already in the middle of the next skill. Okay, when you land with your feet behind you, it's gonna make you go up into the next skill. Okay, so you have to know the difference and you have to know why you're putting your feet in those places. Same thing, one more time. Nice slow lunge. Get the feet behind in the rebound. Behind, up, okay? A little bit more. So try to make sure your shoulders are up here. Don't drop your arms so much, okay? One more time. There's a lot of different things that coaches do that, you know, when they snap the round-off down, sometimes they'll drop the arms and then open up for the handspring. I don't really use those techniques. I just try to, I mean, it's hard enough as it is what we're trying to do, so I try to just keep the arms in the shrug, nice rounded shoulders the whole time we tumble, no matter what we're doing. I don't really try to change the arm positioning very much because it's just too much to think about, too much to train, so I do simplify it and just keep the arms by the ears. One more time. Slow lunge. Feet behind, lift. Feet behind. Okay, do your feet behind this time. Don't snap them through. Try to make them go behind you and make the rebound go up. Make it a little longer, okay? One more time. Feet behind. 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 She's just like, I just want to bring them in front of me. One more time. Leave them behind you, okay? So how do you know if your feet are behind you or in front of you? How does she know? Look at them, okay? Just look at your feet. And the snap down, when you're snapping down that round-off, look at your feet a little bit longer. Look at them until they're almost where you want them, behind you on the floor. Then you can pick everything up and spot the wall and the rebound, okay? So look for the feet in the handstand, behind, there we go. Okay, good, awesome, thank you. Come on down, okay? So she's turning when she kicks, okay? That's one of the biggest things that's gonna keep your round-off straight, because if you turn when you hurdle, okay, now you're already crooked, or if you turn when you're trying to lunge, you step that foot across and the hips unsquare, and also that's from having a hurdle that's too high. So if my hurdle's too high, my weight goes on my back leg, and then my foot sweeps across and I put it on the floor like this, you have a really shallow lunge, and it's not spreading out your body weight. You know what I mean? Your weight should be in your front leg, because the back leg needs to kick first. So if your weight's in your back leg, you still have to get the weight in your front leg anyways, and by the time that happens, it's too late and you already stepped across. So I want the weight in the front leg. That's why we do that nice, long, slow lunge. Get the weight in the front leg so you can push out of it, okay? Stand up, my friend. It's my little buddy, okay? It's a rubber band. Just I don't even know how thick that is, but we get him by the bag at the gym. I'm a sniper with it. I can hit anything within 30 yards. I'm not kidding. It's like my fidget spinner. I always have it in my hand at all times. Now, I look at athletes that have hand placement that's turned out like this. It's really detrimental to creating rotation and momentum, especially for females. So what I like to do is I like to just take it, put it right on their thumbs, okay? And she's gonna tumble with it on her thumbs, okay? So she's gonna start with some cartwheels. Get in a lunge, chest over your knee, okay? Cartwheel. Okay, now what it also does is it helps to turn the hands. That's what I'm trying to talk about right now is hand placement and cartwheels and roundoffs and walkovers, okay? Go again. So what I teach my athletes, you don't necessarily have to believe this, but I want you to try to block in one spot when your hands hit the floor, one main spot, not two spots that are really far away, okay? We're not going onto a vault, okay? We don't need to spread it out. I want your hands close, and I want you to try to block in one spot. It's gonna be a lot more efficient to speed up the arms into the next skill. So just do a couple cartwheels, okay? When she goes, her hands are staying relatively close. Now, the biggest thing that I like to teach is taking the second hand and turning it all the way around to 180 degrees, okay? So I'm a lefty, so what happens is if both of your hands are facing this way, okay, get in a lunge. Get in your lunge, do a cartwheel. Both of her hands are facing to the side. Now, it works, but she's actually pushing which way? This way, okay? Which way is she going? that way. So I want her to turn her second hand more so she's pushing into the direction that she's actually going. It's gonna help you get your head in. It's gonna help you be able to put your feet in the right spot that you want them in. It's gonna give you more control over your snap down, okay? So try to take your right hand, this one over here, and turn it all the way around. Make your fingers face that wall back there. Yep. So and you're gonna do that when you kick. So you're gonna go lunge straight. As you kick, that's when you're gonna turn. Around. There we go. Very good. Now what it does is it keeps her head in line. It keeps her head square and neutral so she can see the snap down coming through, or she can see the line that she's going onto, or whatever part of the floor she's on. Okay, try one time. So turn that second hand, arms up, finish. Good. You can spread your hands apart a little bit more, okay? I want them turned in and I want them no wider than your shoulders, okay? So try to stretch the rubber band out a little bit more. Yeah, stretch it out, arms out. Okay, there we go. Try it from there. Okay, not too bad. Now you gotta kick a little bit more to get those hips over, but that's the goal, okay? Now what I do is I train a lot of my athletes, I'll have that on them. They'll do fulls, whips, doubles. I really like it for whips because it makes that circle really little instead of doing this huge arm drop in a whip and just wasting energy. It makes them keep their arms by their ears, and it makes them hold that shrug and change directions a lot faster. I use this rubber band literally every single day in the gym. There's a number you can call to get them. They're like $1.50 a bag. So, or you can just find a store that sells stuff like that and you can get them. And resistance bands are kind of the way we're going right now because they're cheap, they're easy to use, and they're kind of like, not like some of the tools that we're using in the gym, like those things you put on your shoulders, the big, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff, or the foam blocks you gotta rip up and all that. This is just a simple little easy tool to put on, and they can see, oh yeah, my hands are closer. You know, you can use chalk with it too. You put some chalk on your hands, you put the band on your thumbs, and they can see their hand placement's closer as opposed to when they do it without it, it's not. So it's just a visual tool to use for some athletes that need to see to understand or to believe what you're saying, okay? Good, do a round off. You can do power hurdle. Now it feels a little awkward because you can't swing back behind you, so she's gonna bend her knees, and it's actually gonna make her hurdle forwards more anyways. Instead of this huge up, it's gonna make her go out. So just do power hurdle, round off, rebound. Okay, not too bad. So now I like to talk about a round off. I want her to reach out 3 times, okay? Forwards, you're reaching forwards 3 separate times. She's gonna reach forwards when she hurdles, she's gonna reach forwards when she lunges, she's gonna reach forwards and turn as she kicks, okay? Try again, so reach forwards, forwards, forwards. Forwards in the hurdle, forwards in the lunge, forwards in the kick. Out, okay, better. Now she could definitely lunge a little bit more and slow that lunge down, so let's try to make your heel hit the ground first. Any lunge we do should be a heel-toe lunge, because if you put your toe down first, a lot of times your leg's gonna extend and you can't push out of it, okay? If you lunge in your heel, it lets your knee bend so you can push out of it. Good, a little better, not too bad. Just a little lower, try to make your lunge even slower, lower and slower. Nice, good. It's getting there, okay? It's starting to stretch out a little bit. She's starting to get her arms up a little faster. She's starting to get a better punch off the floor on her toes. That's what we're looking for, okay? The hand placement, give me that. Now do another one. Okay, good. That's the best her hands have been all weekend, okay? Because this is just a tool to remind your body, hey, turn the hand, because it's really hard with this on. It's automatically gonna make it turn with the other arm. So it's a little easier that way, okay? So is there any questions on hand placement in cartwheels and roundoffs? Because I teach it the same. First hand is on the line, second hand is gonna be around the line. So if I'm a lefty cartwheel, I'm in my lunge this way, okay? My left hand is gonna be on the line, facing out to initiate my turn. My second hand is gonna be on the left side of the line, turned all the way around, so that my head can stay neutral and look where I'm going when I hit my handstand. Does that make sense? Handstands are for spotting, okay? Anytime you hit a handstand and tumbling, you should be spotting something that's in front of you neutral so that you know where you're going. Because technically, where am I going? When I hit my handstand, if I were to do a round-off handspring, okay? When I hit my handstand of my round-off, I'm looking that way, but where am I also reaching? Where I'm looking. Does that make sense? I know that's kind of a weird thing to think about, but if you're looking that way and blocking and reaching that same direction, it's a lot easier to get there. It's a lot easier to see where you're going. It's a lot easier to judge what comes next, okay? If your hands are only turned here, it's really, really hard to see where you're going. That's why I turn the second hand all the way around. It just makes life really easy, all right? Any questions on the hand placement? No? Now, for walkovers, a lot of athletes will do a walkover or a front handspring, and you'll see them drop that one arm, okay? It's because of the round-off. It's the same lunge, it's the same hurdle and lunge feeling, so their body automatically starts to twist. Now, there's obviously no turning in a front walkover or a back walkover. It's a straight, square skill. So we've got to make sure when we do walkovers, I use these as well. They're really good tools for walkovers, and for especially front handsprings more than walkovers. They really like to drop that arm as they're kicking because it's the same exact hurdle, lunge, and kick in your walkover as it in your roundoff. So I try to use the bands or use something that can keep their hands, I call them handstand hands. These are handstand hands. Obviously, these are roundoff hands. They're different. Walkovers, handstand hands. Handsprings, handstand hands. Does that make sense? You shouldn't be stacking. It's called a tinsica on beam, am I correct? Yeah, we're not doing tinsicas. We're not on a beam or on the floor, so we got to get our hands close and have handstand hands. Okay. So if you're a righty cartwheel, your right hand goes on the line, your left hand goes on the right side of the line so you can keep your head neutral. Lefty, left hand on the line, right hand on the left side of the line. Right hand on the left side of the line so you can turn. Okay? Cool. Now, next question. When do the legs come together in a roundoff? Right at the top, okay? I want them even sooner than that. I want them as soon as possible. The quicker you can get your legs together, the faster they become one unit, and the one unit rotates quicker than two separate units, okay? When your legs are separate, they don't move as fast as when they're together. They'll snap right onto you and go where you want them to go, okay? So when you snap through, I want you to try to get your legs together as soon as possible. It's probably gonna be somewhere near the top, but try to get them together even a little quicker than that, so by the time they get to the top, they're already together, so that whole second half of the rotation is just snap. It's just quick and tight and fast, and you can actually, it's really hard to engage your glutes, your butt, with your legs apart. So when you get your legs together in that roundoff quicker, you can engage your glutes and get it tucked in and really, really sweep through and put your feet where you want them. Okay, it's tough to do. Like, everyone stand up. I know you're comfy, but stand up right now. Okay, put your feet like shoulder length apart, lean forwards like this a little bit, try to engage your glutes, try to squeeze your butt. It's really hard to do, right? It's tough. Put your feet together, stand up straight, it's already done for you, okay? It's really easy to engage your glutes when your legs are together and when your hips are tucked under you, when your chest is up. So getting the feet together, you can engage your glutes a lot easier and you can really use them. Because when you can sit back down. So I just wanted to show you, when your feet are apart, it's really hard to squeeze. When your feet are together, it's really easy. So whenever your athletes are throwing their heads for handsprings or throwing their heads for tucks, it's because they didn't get their feet together, they didn't use their hips to rotate, so what other options do you have? Head and shoulders, okay? If you can get your feet together in the roundoff and get them in the proper place, whether it's in front of you or behind you, depending on the skill you're doing, it's gonna be a lot easier to get hip rotation, okay? I teach boys to tumble like girls. I know that's funny, but because boys can get upside down a lot easier. They can cheat a little bit and get away with it, but I still teach boys to try to rotate through their hips. A man's center of gravity is his shoulders, so technically he can get upside down a lot quicker than a female, but I want to teach my boys to tumble like girls so that they're higher and slower and more controlled. Their hips come up and then we're spinning or flipping or tucking, whatever we're doing, okay? So I really try to teach all my boys to tumble like a female and really, really get their hips over their head before the next part of the skill initiates, okay? Just because it's prettier, easier, stronger, and you can get more advanced skills quicker. Because boys do learn quicker because they get upside down quicker. And obviously they have more muscle mass most of the time. So it's kind of a law, okay, of biology. All right, so any questions on hand placement, okay? That's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm trying to turn the second hand, first hand's on a line, second hand's around, and I use the lines because what are we trying to tumble in anyways? Always trying to tumble in a straight line, so I always get the athletes on the line when I'm warming stuff up so they have that visual of putting their hands on the line and tumbling on the line the whole time. Because if you have them tumble on a half, it's not really a visual thing. I want you on the line so you're subconsciously staying in a straight line when you tumble and you're using that line to tumble on, and it just makes everything cleaner and stronger anyways. So whenever I warm up, I shift everybody over to the lines, and we use the lines for pretty much our entire warm up just to reiterate the hands. And you don't have to tell them to tumble in a straight line if they're on a line. You know what I mean? Like, you weren't on the line, get back on it, you know? Okay, so that's kind of the gist of my roundoff stuff. There's a lot of drills you can do for roundoffs. There's like a bajillion of them. A couple of my favorite ones are, is there a soft side to this? Not really, but I'm gonna use it anyways. Okay, come over here. So what she's gonna do is, some of my favorite ones just to break the pieces of the roundoff down. So what are the pieces of a roundoff? What's the first part of the roundoff? Obviously, like, say we're already in the lunge, okay? What's the first part? What's the first thing you do? Push and kick, right? You kick, it's the kick. The kick into a lever or a split, a handstand, correct? So what's the middle of your roundoff? Handstand, okay? But obviously you're in a split, but it's still a handstand. What's the end of a roundoff? Snap down, okay? So it's a push and kick, a handstand, and then a snap down into a rebound, okay? Very similar to some of our other skills, but obviously it's the kick that goes wrong sometimes, and it's the turn and the hand placement. So she's just gonna face this mat, come up here, gonna lunge, back up a little bit. Right there, stop, lunge, chest over your knee. Now what she's gonna do is, she's gonna do a round off, but she's gonna land in a push-up, okay? But she's gonna land with her legs up on the mat, looking at the mat, head in. Just nice, round off, nice and easy though, you have to go really hard. So turn the hand, feet together, onto the mat and squeeze, okay? Good, now get that butt tucked in more, get those shoulders round, and try to look at your toes, okay? Good, try it again. So she can start to speed, this mat's kind of hard. I would use something more squishy, but she's doing a good job. Do it again. So get that lunge. Now I want her to make sure her first hand is on the line, second hand turns around the line, and she's trying to look for her feet as they snap onto the mat. Tight, good. Now, do it again. What I want her to try to do is I really want you to try to tuck your backside in and make your hips as flat as possible. So when you land on the mat, your hips are in line with the rest of your body, okay? So you gotta engage your glutes. Squeeze the butt, tight, 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 tuck it in. Yes, good job, okay? Now, you're separating the beginning of the round off so she can get the hips flat, get the head right, get the shoulders shrugged. Now we can add a little something to it. So I want you to do it again. Now, this one's tough. I want you to try to block off and get your hands back down, okay? Just a little bit. Slightly get your hands off the ground as you're snapping down. Same exact thing, just block off the floor a little bit. Hands up. Yeah, that was pretty good, okay? You can see she popped through a little bit. Now try it again, a little bit more. A little bit faster lift, a little bit more block. Snap through, arms up. No, good, a little bit more. Now, she did it with her head that time. I don't know if anybody noticed, but her head picked up instead of her whole arms. I want her arms to block inside. I don't want her head to do that because now her head's going into the next skill first. Whether the next skill is a rebound or a handspring or whatever it is, her head started that next rotation. So she wasn't spotty with it. She wasn't looking at something with her eyes, so her head started the rotation. I want you to try to look for your toes more so that your head is in and your arms can lift your whole upper body up, okay? Look at your toes, arms up and in. Not too bad, okay? This is tough, okay? Trying to go to the handstand and get the hands off the ground, but you can see she's blocking a little bit. That's when that pop should be happening anyways in the round off. As you're snapping through, you should be getting those hands off the ground into the next skill quick, okay? So that's just the first part of the round off. Obviously, handstand is a handstand, so you can just train handstands anywhere you want. I usually just kick up to a wall a couple different ways. I have a really, this one's hard. I want to use you. Stand up. Yes, you. She goes, me? Me? Yes, you. Face me. Go to your handstand facing the wall. Yep. Get close to it. Now squeeze, point your toes, now make your whole body touch. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna walk your hands out into a push-up. Go, walk out. Put the bottom of your feet on the wall. Keep going, keep going. Bottom of your feet on the wall. Now hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Walk back to the handstand. Head in. Look at the wall. Shrug, shrug, shrug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Walk back out. Come on. Put the bottom of the feet on the wall. It's a lot easier with shoes on. Now squeeze that backside, tuck it in. Now, I wanted to make sure that she gets her feet all the way down to the wood so that her body is in that flat hollow position. This is not easy. I can feel her starting to squirm a little bit. You can come down, okay? Now, I would only start with a couple of those at a time, but once your athletes can get to like 10 and 15 in a row, they're gonna get really strong really easily. It teaches them how to breathe while they're contracting all their muscles as well, so they gotta breathe. And it's just one of my favorite things to do. I'm like, okay, go do 10 push-up to plank, push-up to plank, you know what I mean? It's just one of my favorite things to do because you're making them work while they're focused on holding that tight body line. That was not easy, was it? It's hard. You have to squeeze everything. You have to pack your shoulders in. You have to tuck your backside in. You have to have control enough to put the feet on the wall and push against the wall. So it's one of my just favorite little handstand things I do. Also, I like to do handstand pops up onto mats. So, you know, there's just a handstand pop normally, but I like to try to get them to pop as high as we possibly can. So we'll start with like a folded panel mat. We'll start with one panel, handstand pop onto it, and then we'll add another one, handstand pop up onto it, add another one. So they have to get that pop and that snap of the legs faster and faster and faster each time, okay? That's the middle of the round off. There's, you know, you guys have tons of handstand drills you do. I know everyone does. You can do them anywhere. Handstands with a partner, handstand walks forwards and backwards, handstand shoulder taps. I like to do just like putting the hands on the mat and just like we did yesterday, just bouncing all the way to a handstand while you're looking at the toes pop off the ground. Okay, we're trying to get all the way up, shoulders, hips, toes, straddle up, obviously, tuck up, open, just use your imagination. I try to do at least 6 different handstand drills a day with my athletes just because there's a handstand in literally every single thing that we're doing. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be doing a lot of just freestanding handstands to get them ready for that, every other skill that we're doing, okay? What is the end? The snap down, okay? Snap down to the round off. So that was actually kind of a drill for both. It wasn't really a snap down, but it's getting her in the place for a snap down. Now, when we do snap downs, lunge, handstand on the yellow. Squeeze your ankles. Now what she wants to do is, she's here. Now most athletes will go like this, arch, and then they'll pike really hard. I don't want that. Squeeze your butt. I want her to open up her shoulders like this. No, squeeze your, open her shoulders up, and then snap. It's a lot harder to pike when you open up your shoulders instead of your hips, okay? She's using her hips, she's not squeezing, she's piking. That's not what we want. So kick them to a handstand. Squeeze, okay? Open up your shoulders. Snap down, rebound. Okay, now get those hands up even faster. Now when she snaps down, her head came up first. I want her, kick up to your handstand. Look at where you think your feet are gonna land, somewhere around here. Whether we want them in front of her or behind her, that's the spot she's gonna look at. So I want you to try to get your feet neutral. Look right here. Now when you snap down, I want you to watch your feet go towards that spot and set at the same time. Set. Set. Try again. I know it's a little weird, but let's try it again. Look at where your feet are gonna go. Squeeze your ankles, okay? Set. I made her. Do it again. Okay? So all I do is I just flick the wrists a little bit in the middle of it to make her feel what I'm talking about. Because a lot of, go ahead, go again. A lot of athletes will do the snap down. Good. No, handstand, snap down. Handstand. Good. Snap down, rebound. Go ahead. Okay? Yeah. See what happens when your arms stay down? Your butt sticks out, your head comes out, and everything. Try again. So a lot of stuff happens from the handstand into a snap down. You block. You try to block and set, you try to get your hands off the ground, you're snapping down, you're watching your toes go towards the spot, you're engaged. There's a lot of things that simultaneously happen from the handstand through a snap down, no matter what skill you're doing, okay? But obviously the goal is to maintain that straight line. So if we're gonna maintain the straight line, the arms have to come off, the arms and the legs have to switch places, okay? The easiest way to do that is to keep the head neutral so that you can see the toes come down, and when you see the toes snapping down, it's a lot easier to get your arms up, because if your head comes up before your arms do, now you already set with your head. It's already too late. Now you're already arching and piking, okay? Handstand. All the way up. Squeeze. Open up your shoulders a little bit. Good. Snap down, rebound, go. Okay, a little better. Gotta squeeze that butt really, really tight. So, like we talked about, the weakest part of most athletes, not even just cheerleaders, but athletes, is glutes and hamstrings, okay? So lots of glute and hamstring conditioning. It's all available online. You can use your imagination. Some of my favorite ones are just simply hamstring holds, okay? You can just hold right here. You can feel it in that opposite hamstring. I want to flex the top leg. You can also do just up, up. I can already feel it burning right now while I'm sitting here on this hamstring that's on the floor. You can do hamstring push-ups. Come here. Let me take that off. Face that way. Kneel down. Come straight, nice and tight. Now I'm gonna sit right on your feet, just like this. Put your arms up, shrug, okay? Push up, bend your elbows, come back up, okay? Keep your hips out though. Go again, go down, bend, push, come up. Good, again, keep going, keep your butt in. Bend, push, come up, keep going. You're starting to feel it in here? Yup. Okay, immediately, she only did 3 of them, and she's gonna bend your elbows more. Bend, push up, arms up, throw them by your ears. Bend, throw. Okay, good. Bend your elbows, throw. Okay, she's trying to keep the hips flat. I can see her hamstrings bulging back here, okay? Ooh, that was my knee. That was loud. Oh. Okay, those are just a couple examples. There's so much conditioning out there that you can look up, but the biggest ones that I do in my gym are handstands and hamstrings, okay? Just because it just makes the most sense to me to try to hone in that, and obviously core as well, but we don't have to do anything for quads. We punch the floor so many times during a day in the gym, we don't have to really touch the quads, okay? Actually, most of our quads are super overdeveloped, which makes our knees weaker, because the backside of us isn't as strong. So we gotta make the backside as strong and as flexible as the front side. So we're trying to really get some hamstrings and glutes going on. We're trying to stretch these quads out, because usually they're so tight that they're causing knee injuries, okay? So doing the hamstring conditioning, doing the glute conditioning, doing a lot of handstands is gonna help every aspect of our sport. Okay. Snap downs. Like a snap down is a snap down. You can't really do too many different snap downs. But some of the stuff I really like to do when we're warming up, just to try to like even for walkovers, even just for handstands, let's try to see, how about, so all I want you to do is I want you to try to start standing straight up, put your arms up. I want you to try to bounce off your knees into a handstand. Good. Now try to do knees to handstand, knees to handstand, knees to handstand. So look at your hands. Look at the spot your hands are on. Again. Again. Good, nice job. Now, she has to drive her hips up. She has to extend her legs. She has to keep the shoulders engaged, and she has to keep her eyes on that one spot where her hands are going. Like she looks at her hands hit the ground, and then when she snaps up, she looks at the spot her hands are gonna be on, and she just keeps her eyes on that same spot the whole time, okay? It's a snap down, but it's also the first part of a front handspring or a front walkover, and it's also a handstand. So I use this to, it's a lot easier on a tumble track, so I really try to do it on a tumble track. Like my athletes will come in for a private lesson, and I'll say, okay, you're gonna do 20 tuck jumps, 20 baby straddle jumps, 20 jump full turns, 20 knee bounce to handstands, go. And they'll do it. I've been trying to have all my athletes do 200 toe raises every single day. Like in the shower, washing your hair. It's not hard to do a toe raise, okay? Literally 200 a day is gonna get our calves ready to do all the punching, and our ankles, it's kind of ankle conditioning to do all the punching that we need to do, okay? Little baby heads, anybody under the age of like 8 shouldn't be punching on a hard floor like ever, really. And then on the spring floor, not any more than like 30 to 40 times a day. They should be using equipment more than anything if they're younger, just because it's gonna make them develop their joints and all of their growth plates and everything a lot easier. If we're beating up the little ones too much on the floor by too many repetitions, it's not good. So I try to keep my little ones on the equipment as much as possible. So, what else for snap downs? Oh yeah, the one we did yesterday against the wall. We do that, come here. I'll just use you, come here. This one's easy. We're not doing a handspring yet. So, good, kick up to a handstand against that mat. Now this incline, what happens is she has to go a little bit beyond the handstand, okay? She's at this angle here, good, snap down to a push-up. Tight, okay? Now when she snaps down, she really has to use her lower core to get the toes and the legs over. Try it again. Stand up, lunge, chest over your knee. Handstand, hands close, feet here, it's a little bit beyond her now. When she snaps down, make them squeeze the ankles, don't let them kick one leg apart, pull the toes down. Ugh, snap, good. Now, I want you to try to really snap it down. Now, this is already open shoulders, so it's gonna go right into the position that we want into the snap down. She can't arch her back, it's all open shoulder, closed shoulder. That's what we're trying to work with on this one. This is one of my favorites. I use this one every single day because I do a lot of twisting drills that we talked about yesterday with this. I do a lot of stuff with this. So, kick up to a handstand. Chest over your knee, screw. Get the first leg on the wall first. Kick the first leg to the wall, let the second one come up to it. Squeeze that boot, good, snap down. And squeeze, okay, good job. Now tuck that backside in, nice. Now it's just making her maintain that shoulder, those open shoulders, that shrug, and it's making her snap her lower body down with that open, closed shoulder and that tight core instead of the pike, okay? So I would do this one in conjunction with the snap down over here, just to reiterate that snap down feeling of open and closed shoulders, okay? Cool, that's good. Any questions of the pieces of Roundoff? Okay. A couple other drills that I really like to do are just simply, can I have you on the line? Get a lunge, face me. We did this yesterday, but I'm going to do it again. Bigger lunge. You got more legs than a bucket of chicken, girl. Lunge. Come on. All right. Cartwheel. Good. Now try to be back on the line. Okay. So try to land with one foot on either side of the line in the cartwheel. First foot lands, second foot lands, arms up, good, not bad. Don't let those hips turn out, okay? Make sure your hips are square. Now, do cartwheel, step and straight jump. Cartwheel, snap down, okay? So the goal is that first leg goes slow, and then she's gonna snap down straight jump so the rest of her body stays in that straight line, okay? You can see her pike a little bit in that one. I want her to try to really snap the toe down and the chest up at the same time so that she maintains that flat, straight line from her hand all the way to her back foot. Okay, so you can see the straight line right now. Let's see if she can keep it. Keep it, stop. Okay, a little better. But now what's happening is as she snaps down, her head comes up before her foot comes into the other foot, so it gets caught back here. Now she can't squeeze her glutes now, her booty's sticking out. She's gonna arch into the next skill automatically. I want you to literally set, look at your feet until they're together, then the last thing that your body will literally start rebounding, then your head is gonna come up and see the wall last, okay? A lot of people look at the feet in the rebound, I don't. Because now when you pick your head up, you're gonna throw it into the next skill. I look at the feet in a snap down. So snap downs, I teach my athletes to look at your toes, and pretty much any snap down that we do, we look at our toes and put them in the next place that we want them. Obviously, other than in front tumbling. Front tumbling, we're trying to look at our hands or the wall because our head should be slightly out of neutral in front tumbling. We're going to talk about that in a minute when we do walkovers. But okay, try to look at the toes until they're together. Look at them and then squeeze. Much better, okay? Now, when you get those feet not together in round-offs, it's because they're not looking at their toes long enough to get them together to keep the core engaged. I do a lot of these. I was just in California. I was talking to an elite boys gymnastics coach, and he's like, I do so many cartwheel, step, and straight jumps. It's ridiculous. I said, why? He's like, because it's just all good stuff. You have to have a big lunge. You have to have that big open split, that needle position before the snap down. And he does it with his boys all the time. And it's really, and looking at the toes, getting the feet together makes it so much clearer. How many times have you told your athletes, get your feet together in your round off, get your feet together in your round off? I feel like a broken record. I say it all day because that's like one of my pet peeves. You know what I mean? But doing cartwheel, step, and straight jumps teaches them how to engage the glutes, because squeezing the butt is really what's going to get your legs together more than anything. And looking at your feet, because when your head's out, your core is disengaged, your back is arched, and it's really hard to squeeze your butt in this position too. When your head gets to stay neutral as you're spotting your toes, you can squeeze the glutes, which engages the rest of the, easier to engage the rest of the leg muscles and get the feet where you want them. Okay. So cartwheel, step, and straight jumps for the win all day. Yeah. I do both. I do both. Yeah, I'll always train good side, bad side cartwheel, good side, bad side round off, good side, bad side front walkover, good side, bad side back walkover. They're bad at first. They're not good at all, and it's funny, and I film them for my own personal amusement. But then they get better, you know what I mean? Like, I love doing it in my open gym because the kids come in and they're not used to a lot of that stuff, so they come in, they're like, oh my God. But it just teaches you body control, you know what I mean? We shouldn't only be twisting one way. We should be doing drills both ways to develop both sides of the body, or else you're gonna get one side that's more dominant and not as flexible, and then we're in trouble. It's like even with a flyer, you know what I mean? If she's only flying on one leg all the time, the other side's not as strong. Now we have to use both legs. So I try to do both all the time. But obviously there's a side that's more dominant, and that's the way that they're gonna twist. Now I always get asked the question, what if she round offs lefts and twists right? So what? I'm not gonna change it. And if she's comfortable that way, yes, when she gets to more advanced skills, they're gonna be more difficult. A lot of people say she can't do Arabian, she can't do 1.5. So yes, they can. I have many athletes that are opposites that can do them. Okay, it's just they can't cheat. Like if you're a lefty round off, you can cheat the Arabian and twist early. But if you're a righty twist and a lefty round off, my lefty round off is here, I can't cheat. I have to square all the way up and turn right before I step out into my Arabian. So it's just they have to be more perfect. They just can't cheat, which is actually better for me. I'm like, well, it's good. Good, I'm glad you twist one way and round out the other way, because you can't cheat. I mean, drills are a little bit harder. I have this one athlete, she does the round off, rebound, half turn drill that we did yesterday, the step out one. She does round off, rebound, half turn, round off. It's really weird looking because she does a 1 foot left round off and right twist. So, but she's mastered it to the point where she's square on a line, perfect. She has double folds now, you know what I mean? But she round offs one way and doubles the other way. So it can be done. It's just you have to be more patient and train it. Cool. So yeah, just cartwheel step-ins are some of my favorites. Just that handstand snap down is one of my favorites. The handstand walk to push up, very good drill. Just the round off to the push up. And obviously round off sweep throughs to the back. We can do some of those over here, I guess. Come here. Can I use you again? So it's a soup drill, okay? It's a soup drill like on vault, where you snap through and you land on your back. So what you're gonna do is come forwards. Okay, so all you're gonna do is I just want you to put your front foot here in your round off, okay? You're gonna put your hand in the middle, second hand in whatever corner you're turning it in, and you're just gonna do a round off rebound. Back up and do a power hurdle. This mat's a little high, but it's gonna make her lunge a little more, so I kinda like move up, power hurdle, right there. Front foot on the yellow, round off rebound. Okay, good, try again. Now what I want you to try to do is, when you hurdle, I want you to try to squeeze your feet together, move up a little bit more, stop. I want you to try to squeeze your feet together until you get over this yellow mat, then step out, okay? Don't step out right when you hurdle. Try to keep your feet under you when you hurdle, then shoot your front leg out right when you get closer to the yellow mat, okay? So squeeze the ankle, step out, snap, okay? A little better. Now make sure it's a heel-toe lunge, okay? Try to get a rebound out of the round off. Big power hurdle, front foot on, snap down, arms up. Okay, good, there we go. Now try to get your toes closer to the yellow at the end, okay? So snap through, get your toes closer to the yellow. Snap down, feet under, good. Nice, yeah, see how you're starting to fall back? Now get your toes closer to the yellow and then fall into a hollow position on your back. Snap, all the way. Good. Now see how the arms are down? I don't want them down. I want you to try to keep them up. I know that you're taught down just for this weekend. I want you to keep your arms by your ears. I never drop the arms down because what would she be going into after this round off? Usually a handspring. Okay, so if my arms are up, she's ready for the next skill. If the arms are down, she's using her head for the next skill. I don't want to train that ever. I want to train what we're going to use. Okay, try again. So arms back fast, arms up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Tight, good. Now I want you to miss your feet completely and land on your back. Go right to your back. So when you hit the handstand, okay, when you hit the handstand at the end of this mat, I want you to look at where you want your feet, which is close to the yellow. And then when you snap down, I just want you to watch your feet go all the way past that spot. Okay, try to sweep all the way through. Kick hard, all the way, fast. Okay, not too bad. Now try to get those arms up a little bit more into a shrug. Try to miss completely. Okay, what's happening to her is she's a little piked, so her feet are touching the ground. If she can squeeze her backside and drive her hips a little bit more, she's gonna be able to sweep through a little faster. Okay, one more time. Kick hard, snap down, all the way. Okay, not too bad. Come on, try it, all of you, come. Good, go right here. So power hurdle, you watched, right? You see what's going on? Okay, try it. So power hurdle round off, try to sweep all the way through to your back. No, you're not going to block. You're not going to travel that far back. You're going to try to get your toes close to the yellow mat. Snap through all the way. Okay, there we go. That was it. Okay, but she's got to get her legs together a little faster so that she can come through. But you have to be really tight in this drill, or else it's going to knock the wind out of you. And if you throw your head back, you're going to know it. Okay, because it's going to smack the mat. So you're like, hey, you're throwing your head. Did you feel it? You sure did. Okay, good. Try it. I didn't cause that pain. I always tell the parents, you're paying me to beat your children, but it's fine. They're tired by the end of the day. They go to bed early. Good, go again. Come on, power hurdle. Get the front foot up. It's all about the kick. The kick is what creates the rotation at the beginning of the round off. The block and snap down creates the rotation at the end of the round off. So really at the beginning of the round off, you're not really using your arms, you're using your legs. It's from the middle to the end that you're using the arms, okay? We're not trying to use the arms at the beginning of the round off because you're gonna reach down, your head's gonna come out. It's the lunge and the kick into the handstand, and then when you snap through, sweep through, that's when you're using the arms, you're blocking and reaching into the next skill, okay? Kick hard, kick, snap through all the way, bam. Ah, look at it, she doesn't trust it. Try again, come on, trust it. You're on a squishy mat that's next to a squishy mat going off a trampoline. You're doing just fine. Nice and tight. So when you hit the handstand, look at the spot you want your feet, close to the yellow, and then watch your feet go towards that spot. If your head stays in, it's a lot easier to over-rotate. If your head comes out, your back arches, you can't rotate the way we're trying to rotate, okay? Look for the yellow, sweep all the way through. Yes, good job, okay? She trusted it that time, that was better. Now obviously this is a drill where we want to get our feet in front of us after the round off. So we'll be going into a handspring or a whip or something that goes back, okay? This is not a drill to try to do a round off tuck or a round off layout. This is something that sweeps through, that's gonna stretch the next skill after it. Make sense? The first one we did, that round off to push up, will be a good drill to do to get your feet behind you, to do a flipping skill like an Arabian or a tuck or layout or a full out of a round off. Okay, any questions about that? Any questions about round offs at all, in general? Okay, I feel like I tried to cover, when you turn during the hurdle, that's what's gonna make you go crooked. When you hurdle too high, your weight's in your back leg, you're gonna step across, it makes you go crooked. And then if you're crooked at the beginning of your pass, the rest is gonna just swerve around and you're not gaining speed and momentum, you're losing it through that side momentum that we don't want, okay? All right, so round offs. How long did I talk about round offs for? 45 minutes, perfect. Okay, so let's talk about some walkovers now, okay? Now, if I would spend as much of my time on roundoffs as possible because all the pieces of a roundoff are pretty much in a walkover. So what's the beginning of a walkover? Lunge and kick, okay? What's the middle? Split handstand, just like a roundoff. What's the end? It's a snap down. Whether it's a forward snap down or a backward snap down, it's still a snap down. So the pieces are pretty much the same, okay? Obviously, they're just in different body positions a little bit, but other than that, very similar pieces. So one of my favorite, oh guys, go on the black mat over here. All three of you spread out a little bit. Okay, one of my favorite things to do with lower level athletes, one go in the middle, one come over here, is just different drills in a bridge to teach them how to hold their weight in a bridge. Now walking in a bridge is really, really bad for young kids. It's awful for them actually, for their low backs. Try to refrain from bridge walks. They're not good. I'm just throwing that out there right now because what happens is Debbie Love has done a lot of studies on the back and its flexibility. Now the upper back, the thoracic area, okay, it's got literally 70 to 80% mobility. So this is where we want to, stretch through. Tighten up your backside and your belly. This is where we want to stretch through, okay? Your lower back only has about 15% mobility. So you shouldn't even be stretching the lower back like at all because it doesn't stretch. It physically does not stretch. It's anatomically fused, it doesn't move. So we should be stretching out this area, stretching the shoulders, stretching the upper back area, tighten up that backside. Here, this is where we should be stretching. Now loosen up your backside and your belly. When I do this, see this? This is back injury right here, all day. This is what we don't want to see ever in anything that we're doing. Okay, we don't want to see that arch. We want to see an engagement here so that we can stretch through the upper back. That's what the goal is in all of this tumbling stuff. Because if you stretch through the upper back, the rest of the body comes through. If you stretch through the lower back, it's only your upper body that's going. So all that pressure of not flipping the lower body is on your lower back now. Not a good feeling, okay? So try not to stretch the lower backs, not too many bridge walks for young ones. It's just really not good for them, okay? I mean, we can't see it because they're so young and mobile and flexible that we don't really see it until later, and then it's already bad to the point where they're having to do all sorts of crazy stuff to fix it, and it's just not what we're looking for. But okay, let's do some fun bridge things. Move up a little bit, move up a little bit. Okay, so we are going to go on a bridge, okay? Now, put your feet together, make your legs straight, push them out away from you a little bit. No, yeah, there you go. Now look at the ceiling. Look at the ceiling. Yeah, now push your shoulders past your hands 10 times. 1, 2, okay? This is stretching out the upper back, opening up the shoulders. 3, 10 of them. 4, good. 5, what are you doing? Go, what do you think? What are you looking at us for? Go, do them, 10 of them, go. Good, now, when you're done that, you're gonna come down, grab your knees, and roll out 10 times. Now really pull on your knees, make your back really round, tighten up your belly, and roll out the upper back. Good, there we go. Legs together, look at the ceiling. Open up those shoulders, open up those shoulders. Try to push your armpits past your hands. Armpits past your hands, there we go. Trying to open up the upper area of the back. Okay, good, come on down and rock. I call these rocks and rolls. 10 rocks, 10 rolls, roll it out 10 times, roll. Round those shoulders, pull on your knees really hard, round it, pull, good. Make them really round, get that back tucked in, roll your hips under so we're not arching that lower back too much. Good, next drill. Now, go in a bridge. Okay, look at the ceiling, hands close. Lift one leg as high as you can. Now switch. Nope, jump switch. Hop, kick it, snap. Oh my, come on now. You gotta kick the other leg a little higher than that, okay? Ready, kick high, snap. Good, 10 of them, go, go, go. Lift it up and switch. Lift it up and switch. Lift it up and switch. Make your bottom leg straight. Look at that bent, ugly bottom leg. Come on, make it straight. No, switch bigger. Switch, put your leg at the top, and then switch all the way to there. Keep your eyes looking at the ceiling. Look at the ceiling the whole time. And switch. Yes, and switch. Oh, see? These are tough, okay? I've been doing these for the whole season at my gym. Some of the kids can go up and switch 6 times before they come down because they're using those hip flexors, they're using their kick. Really good drill for walkovers, especially for back walkovers and for shoulder flexibility because we're putting them in the position we need to be in at the beginning of a walkover. We're opening up the shoulders and we're using those kicks and we're kicking both legs. We're developing the strength in both sides instead of just one side. So it's one of my favorite little things to do, and kids actually really like it a lot. They're like, oh my God, I see how many I can do. See if I can keep my legs straight. They enjoy it a lot, okay? This next one's a little harder though. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna go, I'm gonna use you first, I'm gonna show with you, and then you guys watch so you can copy. Go on a bridge. Okay. Now, good. Put your feet apart, bend your knees a lot. Now you're gonna jump, bring your legs together, and then come back, okay? Go. Jump, legs together, come back. Drive your hips up more. Jump, legs together. Good, go again. Jump, legs together. Not bad, you gotta straighten out the legs. Good, come on down. Good, everyone try 5 of them, okay? Now, they have to jump, they have to drive the hips, they have to straighten out the legs. She did a really good job for her first try doing that. These are actually really hard. Make your feet a little bit more apart. Big jump, snap the ankles, push the hips up. Yes, try to push the hips over the shoulders, okay? Hips up, good. Bend, jump, hips up, good. More drive. No, it's not a heel click. Get your legs together, girl. Come on. Legs together, okay? Good. Come on down. Now roll it out. Roll it out. Roll it out. Grab your knees and roll it out, okay? Those are tough. Give them a round. Those are tough, okay? Good job. Okay. But you have those athletes that can't do their walkovers yet. They sure as heck can do this stuff, okay? And if you teach them this stuff, they're going to automatically be doing it on their own and getting themselves stronger instead of you just forklifting walkovers all day, okay? It's not what you're looking for. You want them to get stronger. You don't need to get stronger, okay? They need to get stronger. That's the goal here. I don't spot at all at my gym, like literally nothing. I spot nothing. I don't spot doubles. The only thing I really spot is handsprings when they're first starting them because I don't let them swing. And we're gonna talk about that in the next class. But that's all I really spot very much. I don't spot because I do all the pieces and drill until they're strong enough, and then we put them together, they have the skills. It's like, I'm telling you it works, okay? Drill the pieces. Do the conditioning that's specific to those pieces, and then put it together, okay? Any questions on those bridge drills? Those are my favorites. I use them every single day, and all my privates and all my classes. They're awesome, okay? Good. So the next part of a walkover, that athletes can do by themselves that they don't really need help with. I have kids come up, can you spot me on my back? What? Nope, stop right there. I'm not spotting you on anything. You have a lot of work to do before I spot you. I don't just spot things. They have to do work to get to me to spot them. They have to do the pieces of the skill. I literally will set up, I'm going to talk more about this in the handspring class, but I will set up the pieces of the skill. They will go through and do the pieces, and then they will do the skills that they have, whether it be cartwheel or round off, forward rolls, whatever they're working on. Then they'll get to me, and I'll spot them on the skill that they want. Does that make sense? Okay? I'm not just going to do it for them. That's not how it works. Okay? Tumbling is one of the only things you can't just go on your cell phone and get. Okay? And a lot of people get mad about that, and they just expect things, and you have to work hard at this stuff, and you have to work hard to make it look perfect. You have to work hard to make your body strong enough to do it. And once they understand that, put your head down and grind, it's something that they understand. Because this is one of the only things you have to work hard for. Okay? So, all right, so this is one of my favorites. Grab this. I want to use you over here, babe. Come here. Go to that yellow one. Thanks. Now get in a lunge. So you have your unflexible beginner athlete, okay? She can't do a front or back walkover, but she's getting her handstands pretty close. She's getting a little stronger. She's been coming to the gym a couple months. She's rec kid or something, somebody that's not in there too much, somebody that's very beginner or new. So I say, okay, so what we're gonna do, kick up, I want your hands kind of close. I want your hands to be right around here on your handstand. So kick up to a handstand. Now I want you to look at your hands. Look at your hands. Go to a bridge, but look at your hands. Look at your hands. Look at your hands. Good. Now kick back over. Look at your feet. Okay? So you're going to look at your hands all the way into the bridge, and then you're going to look at your feet when you step down. Now this is half a front walkover and half a back walkover. Okay? The first half of the front walkover into the bridge, the second half of the back walkover out. Now, really easy to do when it's high. Once they master it onto this high mat, go to a lower one. Lunge. Chest over your knee. Handstands close to the yellow. Look at your hands in the handstand. Okay? Keep looking at your hands when you go to the bridge. Hands, 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 hands. Look at your hands, look at your hands, look at your hands. Now kick over and watch your feet. Watch your feet, watch your feet, watch your feet, arms up. Good. Okay? So I want her to see the hands in the front walkover because the head should be slightly out in front tumbling. And then I want her to see your feet when she's snapping down because you want to look at your feet during snap downs. Okay? Try again. So lunge, handstand. Hands are close. Look at your hands, look at your hands. Keep looking at your hands. Good. Kick over, look at your feet, arms up, finish. Very nice, okay? Does that make sense? So you start high, you work your way low, something the athletes can do by themselves. I usually use like a resi so that it's a little squishier, so if they crash, they can kind of fall and roll out of it and try again. But obviously these guys are good, so I was just showing the visual of the nice high mat. Because if they're not flexible in their shoulders, you can't just magically be flexible, okay? You have to work at it. You have to do the bridge drills. You have to get used to holding your own body weight when you're upside down, and this is the easiest way that I found to do that, okay? I have athletes that might not be in the best shape that can do this stuff relatively easily, and they feel really accomplished because they're doing it by themselves. They're not getting spotted on it. They're not falling on their heads too much. They can feel it and they can do it, and it becomes something that's real. It's something that becomes a goal. Okay, my goal for you today is to get that handstand kickover, okay? And then we're gonna make a mat half that size and do the handstand kickover, and then we're gonna try to work our way down a little bit more. And they're like, okay, let's do it. And then that will be one of the drills that they do in their mini circuit before they get to me and get their spots or whatever they need. Any questions on that stuff? Okay, good. I have a couple more little walkover things, and then I think we're going to be done soon. Gosh, that went by really quick. What time does this class go to? 10:15? 10:30? Yes. Okay. Okay, so next. Is another little drill for TikTok. It's fine, I don't need any help. It's fine. Just sit there. I'm kidding. Okay, I'm gonna use you. Come here. Okay, so what she's gonna do is, she's gonna lay on her belly on this mat. Face that way. Put your hands in the middle on the floor. Move forwards. More in the middle of the mats. Okay? Now go up onto both feet like in a pike. Go onto your feet. Good, now kick one leg over to the mat. No, kick this one up. Now kick back. Now kick back. Kick all the way over, come on, push. Kick back. Keep this other one up though, okay? So try to point your toes instead of staying a split. Push, 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 Okay, keep going. Push. Look at your hands. Okay? Now you start high if they're unflexible, and then you start working the mats lower and lower and lower so they can tap on each side. Opens up the shoulders, holds them in a split, keeps the head in the right place. Really easy frontwards and backwards walkovers without you having to do anything. Okay, cool, come on down, good job. So that's another one that I couple with that other handstand bridge kickover. If you have the luxury of having a bunch of mats, it's really easy to use panel mats, stack up the panel mats and then start unfolding one panel at a time on each side so they start working their way down and they can see, I'm working my way down, I'm getting more flexible, you know what I mean? I'm getting further and further in my kicks and in my flexibility here so you can open it up. Those are two of my favorites that I use all the time for walkovers. And I really like to go off the end onto squishy mats too, just go off the end of equipment just so it's squishy and easy for them when we get to handsprings and stuff. But it's so important that the head placement is correct. When you're doing a front walkover, you want to look at your hands as they're hitting the floor, and you actually want to look at your hands as they push off the floor and follow them up. You don't really want to tuck your chin in that front walkover, okay? So we get up, I'm going over there, all of you. All right, just do some front walkovers. Okay. So at the end of the front walkover, you can see, go ahead, keep going, go ahead, front walkover. So you can see her looking at her hands and her head. She's literally following them up, okay? She's following her hands. She's actually pushing behind herself and then snapping up to that chest up position. Arms up, good. Now, it's a little archy, so what I want you guys to, now stop down there, we're gonna tumble back. So what I want you guys to try to do is, now a front walkover is not a power skill, it's a flexibility skill, so it should always pretty much go from a lunge. If you're stepping into it, it's gonna become a front handspring, okay? It's a lunge, control, flexibility skill. Okay, try again, big lunge, chest over your knee, try to make it really slow. Yes, good. Okay, try to land on one foot, land on one leg only. So land on that one leg, chest up, finish, good. Okay, good. Front walkover, land on one leg only. Okay. Push, watch your hands, push. Okay, better now. See a little archy there. When you come up out of that, as you're standing up, you gotta really squeeze your belly and engage your core so your back doesn't stay arched that long. So tight belly, chest up, a little better, okay? A little more snap up, land on one leg. Good, not bad. Good, one more time. Give that to her. Good. Do connected. So she's gonna push off, she's gonna follow her hands right into the next one, follow her hands right into the next one. Now, as you can see, she's reaching forwards before she lunges, that's the goal. You don't wanna put your foot down when you're still back here, because what is your leg? Straight, and you can't use it now. So when you do front walkover, step out, round of handsprings, it's really important to do push, reach for the lunge before you actually lunge with your foot, okay? So you gotta really get those arms to reach forwards, engage the core, then the front leg can hit the lunge and push out of it, okay? Connected. Hands closer. Hands closer. Thank you. You are not a man. Why are you out here like this? If we were in a fight and you push me right now. Push me, push me. Push, go. Don't be scared, push me. Seriously. With both hands, weirdo. With both hands. Yeah, you'd push there, right? Would you ever push me like this? So don't tumble like that. Go again. Push. Thank you. Connected. Nice. I know it's a little awkward, but just try to, so literally you want to try to flick through your thumbs a little bit more at the bottom of that. So push through your thumbs behind you, follow your hands into the next one. Push behind you, reach. Reach. See how she's putting that foot down? That's what we're not, when we want to connect them, we want to reach first before the front foot lands, so we can actually change our direction, put our weight in our front leg, because right now when she puts that foot down like that, where's her weight still? She still has to get it in her front leg anyways, so you might as well reach forwards first, so the weight starts to transition forwards, and then you can easily lunge and step out. So that's where you're gonna learn your step out. For like a bounder step out or a punch front step out. This is where you first learn it. This is the first experience you have with stepping out of a front skill. You have to reach first before you heel toe lunge. It's really important. If you're letting them just step down and then that they're gonna have to go relearn it when they do step outs out of punch fronts now. So you might as well start doing it here, okay? Any questions about the front walkover? Like I said, those are two of my favorite drills for front and back walkovers combined, because obviously our athletes should be working both at the same time for front and back flexibility. So that's what we're looking for I like to find drills that multitask, okay? That do things, multiple things that we're trying to get done at once. So the athlete can learn a little faster because we don't have as much time in the gym as gymnastics. So I try to pack it all in and learn as much as possible, okay? Now let's talk about the back walkover. Back walkover. Come here. Face that way. Now, back walkover. Stand clean. Good. Now set for the back walkover. Wonderful. I love how she stepped forwards, okay? I'm kidding. Why would we step forwards when we're doing a backwards skill? So what I want her to do is I want her to start clean, do it again. Now step back, arms up. Yes, because we're going backwards, right? So when we step forwards like that, we're going to start to arch and it's a little weird. I want her to step back and keep a straight line on her body, okay? Try again. So step back, arms up. Wonderful. Now, back walkover. Very nice. That's beautiful. She has beautiful long legs. It's pointed toes. I love it. Do it again. It's great. Push. Very nice job. Now, at the beginning, she's spotting her hands slightly. She's not throwing her head back, but she's got her head neutral, but she's looking at her hands at the beginning. And then when she hits the handstand, she looks for her feet in the step down, okay? That's what I'm looking for. She's using her eyes to see where she's going. She's using her eyes to know where she is. If you just throw your head, your eyes roll around in your skull and you can't use it to spot, and then you get nervous and you can't do your skill, okay? So I want you to notice when she's kicking, though. When is she kicking? When do you kick in a back walkover? When do you kick that leg over? Just before the hands touch the ground. If you put the hands on the ground and you haven't kicked yet, you're arching your back a lot, okay? I want you to kick just as before they're touching, so you're shifting that weight into the handstand position. So she wants to kick out of the top leg and push out of the bottom leg just before her hands hit the ground. Step back. She reaches, kicks. Now, okay? She's gonna kick out of that top leg and push out of the bottom leg just before the hands touch, which makes the weight shift into the handstand. Now, the goal in a back walkover is to get the hips over the shoulders to get to that handstand position. So when we spot someone on a back walkover, okay, good, step back, good, kick over. What I do is I push their hips over their shoulders. That's all I'm doing is getting their hips. Pretty much when we spot as spotters, we're really manipulating hips is what we're doing. We're trying to get their center of gravity over. So when she goes, all I'm doing is pushing her hips up over her shoulders to get to that balance point, and then I don't really have to do anything afterwards, okay? Making sure she's there, and then whoop, and then I let go. So if she can kick and reach back at the same time, so come here. So she, put your arms up, step back. So she has a straight line on her body, okay? Her straight line is right here all the way down. Her goal is to keep that straight line. Now, if she reaches back and kicks almost at the same time, I got you. There, she can keep that straight line, okay? But if she reaches back, puts her hands on the ground, and then kicks, there's no more straight line. It's an arch, and then you're gonna pike down, okay? So we gotta try to maintain the straight line from the beginning of the skill all the way through the end of the skill. She does a really good job of doing that, okay? Do one more time. Kick hips, finish arms up. Nice job. Give her a round of applause, that's beautiful. Okay, so like I said, what you're trying to do your bridge drills to teach them to get the hips over the shoulders. You're doing your handstand bridge kickovers to teach them how to kick over and get the eyes on the toes and step down. And we're combining some of the conditioning for core and hamstrings and glutes along with that to make those skills work. Okay. Are there any questions on back walkovers? Front and back walkovers, okay? We did roundoffs, let's do some, I do a lot of different combinations with walkovers just to get them to start linking long passes together with lower level skills. So why don't you guys come over here? Actually, you can start right there. Sorry. Okay, I want front walkover, cartwheel, step in, back walkover. Not too bad. Now, do you think that you could step in and sweep that foot all the way through without touching it? Try again. So make sure you're watching the hands on the way back. Kick the leg before the hands touch in the back walkover. So front walkover, cartwheel, step in, sweep all the way through. It's a little tough, right? You got to watch those hands as you go back. Okay, try one more time. But what happened to her? What did she do? She threw her head. She looked back, try to look where she's going. You could see right where you're going in the cartwheel step in, and then reach where you looked. Okay. Walk over, nice and easy. You can go slow, go slow. Yes, yeah, and then right there is where you get a kick and sweep through. That's the idea, okay? So just getting them to link tricks together with lower level skills, you can do 3, 4, 5 trick passes where they're only used to doing just walkovers, and there's 1 or 2 at a time. So you can start to get their endurance with the skills that they have, okay? And then when you transfer those to the higher level skills, it's gonna be a lot easier to do 4 and 5 trick passes because they're used to it. I think a girl on my 4.2 team does like 14 things. I'm serious. She does like bounder, step out, roundoff, handspring, step out, half turn, like front handspring rebound, blue, bloom, across the mat here, boom, lands in a split. It's really cool. Cool little pass she does, but she does it really well. She's got beautiful pointed toes. All the skills are fantastic, and she can link it all together without looking crazy, you know what I mean? Okay, let's do stand up. Let's do front walkover, round off, rebound, half turn, front walkover. Round off, rebound, half turn, front walkover. Not too bad, okay? Hands were a little wide, but that was pretty good, okay? Just make sure those hands are reaching forwards out of the first front walkover faster so you can hit your lunge. Your weight's still in your back leg a lot, okay? Stand up. Turn around. Let's do back walkover, step in, rebound, half turn, front walkover. So back walkover, step in, rebound, half turn, front walkover. Back walkover, step in, rebound, half turn. Oh, too early, front walkover. Yes, okay, try again. Back walkover, step in, rebound, half turn, front walkover. Step together, snap down, rebound, half turn, front, go, push. Yes, nice, good job, okay? So you can just link the tricks together, play around with it, have a little fun with the skills that they have. Put them in different orders so that they have to know the trick better, because something coming into it or out of it is going to make them go back to their muscle memory and their technique as opposed to just forcing the skill, okay? Cool? Any questions on walkovers, connections, roundoffs? Any questions at all? Throw them out there. Anything about beginner tumbling? Burning desires? Come on. Nobody. Nobody at all. You're all looking at me like, I know I'm going to end this class when you're going to come walking up to me and ask me questions. So ask them right now. Come on. No question is a dumb question.
The percentage of muscle memory in that first slot that you're actually doing the complete skill, how much would you spend on that?
Oh, just that's just like kind of messing around and playing around with those skills. Just, you know, because if they have the skill and they're doing it in the middle of routine season and they've been doing their routine skills over and over again, it's just fun to switch it up and get them to do something different and get a little, you know, I try to come in with a different spin on things every time I work with somebody or a team or my athletes in my private lessons, because, you know, it gets redundant. You don't want it to be boring. You know, you want to train and you need to be repetitive of the skills, but you can switch the drills up and still get the same effect. You can switch the order of the skills up and still get the same effect. You know what I mean? So I would do more repetition and muscle memory than all those funky things. You know what I mean? It's just fun for them just to switch it up and do something different. So, cool.
Would you teach front and back walkovers with boys as well as girls?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, boys just use it as a cop-out. I'm a boy, I don't have to do walkovers. You're wrong. You're just wrong. Even as a boy, you should be doing walkovers. Riley's back there on his phone ignoring me. Yeah, flexibility is super important, and obviously it takes longer for a male to get flexible. So they're going to be discouraged by it, and they're not going to want to do it. And most boys skip right past it and go to all the power skills anyways, but I make my boys do them. We have a circuit that I do, like I talked about. I'm going to try to explain that circuit in the next class so you guys can kind of put your own spin on it at your gym. But I have a circuit, and we literally, every line on the mat, we do like a big, it's like a big S, okay? It's like a big snake all the way on every line. So say this is my first line. They'll start at the beginning, okay, over here, and literally I'll have them do front walkovers all the way down the line, okay, do front walkover, and then they get to the next line, front walkovers again, next line, back walkovers, front handsprings, back handsprings, reset. Because we have 9 panels, 8 lines. Then we'll do round off multiple twice, standing multiple twice, round off handspring tuck twice, 2 to tuck twice, restart. Round off handspring layout twice, 2 to layout twice, round off handspring fold twice, 2 to fold twice, restart. Doubles, specialties, standing folds, whatever, or you can tailor it to a level 2 team. You can do forward rolls connected, backward rolls. You can do cartwheel step-ins. You can tailor it to the level or the group of athletes that you're working with, and I make the boys do it. I make them do front walkovers. I make them do back walkovers, or handspring step-outs, you know what I mean? Just trying to get that flexibility, the open legs, the open shoulders, all that stuff. And you gotta actually take your boys and stretch them. You have to physically stretch them because their muscles are tighter. They can't really stretch themselves as much as someone can grab them and stretch them out. You know, put them on a wall, put the leg, do some resistance stretching, you know what I mean? Put them on the ground, stretch out their shoulders, because it's mainly men's shoulders that are super unflexible because they're more muscular in that area. That's where they carry a lot, like men tumble with their arms and women tumble with their legs. You know what I mean? So that's where most of your power is gonna come from. So you gotta stretch out the shoulders and the upper back of boys more than anything. That's what's preventing them from doing those walkovers is flexibility. Walkovers are flexibility tricks. So it's the flexible shoulders that's preventing them from doing it. So I wouldn't let them get away with it. I don't let them get away with it. My boys throw crazy passes and I make them do walkovers. Yeah, definitely. Don't let them get away with it.
Anything that you can do for really little ones that won't straighten their legs?
Really little ones that won't straighten their legs, yeah, just that back and forth drill, you know what I mean? And literally take their leg and be like, your knee is bent, straighten it up. They need to, like, how does a little one learn? By seeing someone else do it and by you know, taking a couple steps and falling, you know what I mean? So literally take their legs, make them straight, show them, if you point your toes, this muscle will squeeze and your legs will be straight. You gotta show them and tell them what muscles they need to use so they can actually feel it. You know, even though they're little, they understand that this is my body, this muscle needs to be straight and not bent. They'll get it, you know what I mean? It's just, obviously it takes a little more. Of course it does. That's called maintenance. You got to do it every single day, all day. Because you feel like, well, I did that the other day. Well, yeah, you got to do it again and again and again and again until it stays. You know. So you just and if it's maybe do more of that. Maybe do more of them. Just focus on that one thing. Just have a whole day. You're coming in. I'm working with my group of little ones. We're working on straight legs today. Everything we do is straight legs. We're not bending our knees and anything. We're doing straight jumps with straight legs. We're kicking with straight legs. We're walking around the mat with straight legs. You know what I mean? And by the time they say it takes about 50 times of doing something differently to relearn it. So get that number 50 in your head and say, okay, we're doing 50 things with straight legs today with these little ones. And then I'm pretty sure you'll see a difference. I'm telling you, you will, okay? Just because if you're just focusing on that one thing, like I always usually come into a class with a theme. I have a theme for the day, like handstands, hand placement, strength and conditioning, whatever the theme is, and that's all I'll do the entire time, because it's just easier to focus on. Or one skill. I'm like, we're doing layouts today, nobody's twisting. You're doing all your elite passes to layouts, go. Or we're doing rebounds today, you have to squeeze your rebound. If you roll the windows down or judo kick, you're doing conditioning or whatever it is, you know, just pick a theme and go with it. So that's what I usually do. Especially with the little ones. The little ones take a lot more, obviously, patience and repetition. I don't really work with the little ones because I don't have that patience, but there are people that do. But I set up a lot of tumbling in the gym, so I try to go over it with them. And a lot of those people have gone through me and tumbled with me, so they get it. They know how to go slow with the little ones and have the patience. But yeah, you got to do it over and over again. You need to inundate them with as much learning as possible. You got to show them. You got to make them feel it. You got to do it for them. You got to tell them. They got to learn all those different ways at once so they can, one of those ways will stick.
I just think when we're doing a choreography, she's thinking about what's coming next and thinking about a technique.
Of course she is. Yes, of course they're thinking about what's coming next. Yeah. Well, that's with any routine. What I try to do is, especially with the upper levels, how many pieces are there to a routine usually? Sections, 9, 8 to 9 sections, okay? Each section is its own entity. It doesn't affect the next one or the one before it at all. I don't care if you fell. You get to the next one, it's a new routine, it's a new section. That's how they have to go into it looking at it. If you can take it piece by piece, but they're so worried about that skill that's in the third section that they're not even thinking about the one that they're in. Or even just at the beginning of their tumbling pass, I'm thinking about my full and I haven't even started my pass yet. There's a lot of stuff before that full, a round off, a handspring, and a layout, you know what I mean? So you gotta teach them how to take it piece by piece and break it down in their head. I'm really ADHD and dyslexic, so I have to do that with every single thing that I learn or do, or else it doesn't make any sense to me. I have to do everything in sequential order. I have to. So that's the way that I coach. I coach as if all my athletes have ADD. And if they don't, they learn a lot faster, okay? And if they do, and if they do, they're learning with me, because it took me a long time to learn how to learn. I know that sounds weird, but when I grew up in high school and in middle school, I didn't have teachers it wasn't like a thing yet, you know what I mean? So they would just sit me in the front of the class and tell my mom I was a jerk, pretty much is what they did. Yeah, pay attention. I'm like, I can't. I know it sounds like a cop-out, but I literally couldn't. I physically could not pay attention to what they were saying. But the funny thing is I retained a lot of the information. Like I speak pretty good Spanish, and I only did Spanish in high school. Yeah, it's really weird. Like I wasn't even looking at her, but it got in there somehow. I don't know. But yeah, I just sequential order, everything. Everything I do is the order that it needs to be in, like the order of operations of tumbling, you know what I mean? And that's how I set everything up. So, cool. Awesome, you guys are great. I really appreciate everything. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you so much.